everyone, and welcome to Go-to-Market AI, the future of your go-to-market tech stack. I'm your host, Sarah McConnell. And these days, it seems like every company has AI, but on this show, we want to go a level deeper so you can see firsthand how businesses are actually applying AI to solve your business challenges. We're going deep into the use cases and showing you live demos of the latest and greatest in AI technology. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by Rocco Savage, Head of Growth at Reggie AI. Rocco, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sarah.
Super excited to have you here. We've worked with Reggie a couple of times in the past on webinars. I love your guys' team over there and what y'all are doing. But for listeners who don't know Reggie, can you tell us a little bit about what does Reggie do? Who are you guys helping? And yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. Reggie is a generative AI platform, or the generative AI platform for revenue teams. We've been working with AI since day one of generative AI. That dates pre-ChatGPT. For folks that it seems like it's been ChatGPT hasn't even been out in a year. Just FYI.
That's okay.
So we've been doing this for about 2.5 years. But we're building autonomous agents for revenue teams to do various tasks, as well as different productivity tools to support sales reps on prospecting, making prospecting easier.
That's awesome. We've seen a few times on the show, we've talked about sales assistants and how it can help sales, but I think sales agents is a new concept to the show. So I'm excited to dig into it and see. So with that being said, Rocco, I would love to jump into the good stuff, which is the demo, and see what Reggie AI can do.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it interactive. Let me open up my handy dandy slide deck here for everybody watching. Don't worry, I'm going to only spend a few minutes on slides, and then we're going to get into the good stuff. All right. So just some quick context on like the evolution of sales tech. We think about, where we've been for the past 15 years with this simple automation. You think about sales engagement platforms, you think about marketing automation platforms, and they have this analog or algorithmic component to it, if-thens, very simple, basic steps to make a rep do all these repetitive tasks hundreds of times over and over again, etc. Fortunately, what we've seen since generative AI has been out is now AI can support the rep in doing these tasks so much faster, right? So much faster, getting through LinkedIn tasks faster, supporting on calls to put the right information in front of them at the right time, sending personalized emails much faster than you used to be able to do with better brevity and better quality. All these things are possible today. And we've been at this for about 2.5 years. We actually started out bringing AI sequence writing to market 2.5 years ago. It was so crazy because pre-ChatGPT, folks are like, can this thing even write an email? I don't trust AI can write anything. And now if you think about that 11 months post-chat, it's yeah, of course it can, right?
A year later, now there's blind trust, and also they're like, of course it can.
Yeah, it basically went from can this thing write an email to can it connect to my brand voice, my CRM, and replace all my reps? Literally overnight. It was so wild. So you can imagine trying to build a playbook for something like that when everything just changes overnight. But that was a ton of fun. We got through it. What we also realized is, we have a phenomenal co-founder and CEO in Sridhar, who loves to push the limits of tech. And we've really been pushing what's possible with AI, especially when it comes to our revenue motion, right? And if you think about all these different flows between lead and meeting, whether it's inbound lead response, outbound prospecting, nurturing old leads, AI agents can do these tasks so well. And now AI's gotten to the point where it can actually do task execution. So we've moved on from the creative process of being able to write an email or being able to create a picture or video, and now it can actually repetitively execute tasks for you, which is wild to think. So, the biggest contrast you can think of is if you're a go-to-market leader, any templated email that supports between lead and meeting should be replaced with an agent over the next 3 years. Because if not, you're still just sending the same templated emails over and over and over again. And now you can, have a better outcome. You'll get better open rates. It'll be more human. The emails are just so much better because it actually analyzes the prospect and comes up with something a lot more eloquent. So we'll talk about one of those use cases today. All right. Now, to dig in a little bit further on like what can this agent do? Because you've seen it write an email, and that's fantastic, right? That was like the first use case. But what we're going to walk through today is number one, lead sourcing, right? Whether it's the RevOps team putting together the accounts and pulling the contacts, or marketing is doing it, or each rep has to pull and source their own contacts. Today, agents can do that for you now. You can actually remove that 20% of your week spent just trying to find contacts and accounts literally into zero, so you can do more revenue generating activities with an agent. So we'll walk through how that works today, different use cases. Messaging and sequence creation. Of course it can create messages. Of course it can create sequences. You could do that in Chat GPT today. But where Reggie comes in is you can actually upload all of your persona messaging, your brand content, etc. So when you're creating the messaging, you're going to get the same messaging all the way through the customer journey. So, all those persona cards and persona docs and pain points that marketing always works so hard on, and then gives it over to sales, like, sales, please use this in your sales messaging. And, maybe 20% of the time it gets into the messaging. Now it's actually in there, right? Because the AI is writing it, and whatever they saw on that landing page, whatever they saw on that website is going to show up in the email, and it's going to feel like you know them throughout the process. Not to mention everything's going to be personalized these days. And campaign building, AI there's no more like analog static sequences. Now AI and emails and sequences work like ads. If you think about, Sarah, if you and I are sitting here talking about our favorite deodorant, well, guess what's going to happen when we open up Instagram?
Definitely deodorant ads. Seen that happen too many times.
That's right. And then if you click on that ad, guess what happens after that? You get more deodorant ads from competitors. You're flooded with all the deodorant ads.
Other products that are just in the same space. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we're all familiar with intent, but for some reason, all of these systems have been like disconnected when it comes to sales emails. Emails work like ads now. It's all dynamic, right? It can connect to intent, it can connect with engagement, and the AI can actually serve up tasks either from an email perspective or to the actual rep based on that type of engagement. So now from a buyer perspective, they're actually going to be getting more emails that are more relevant and less phone calls that are irrelevant, which everybody loves, right? RevTech insights and analysis, just the messaging, the depth of detail that you can get from analytics standpoint. We'll get through that today. Task execution, we already talked about it. Performance management, just AI and agents can really support this in a great way. So a couple of use cases, just so you can think about, like, as you go back and you're looking at the gaps you need to fill from a go-to-market standpoint, or maybe you don't have the head count that you need in some of these motions, and maybe your next hire should be an agent, that can support it and support your team. An agent can handle, the typical SDR can handle 6,000 contacts a year. An agent can handle 600,000. So, there's just, it's just a massive, massive change and improvement in our productivity. Cold outbound, LinkedIn connection requests. Now, this is really unique, and you got to abide by the terms of LinkedIn. So there's no auto connecting, but we got a cool motion there that really stirs up the profile, personalizes the LinkedIn email. Agents can support that, and it can connect to your data. So like an opportunity is created, you want to send your CEO and CMO or whoever it is to connect with their exec level to make sure you get those LinkedIn connection requests. An agent can support that whole motion for you now. Inbound lead response, of course. Sales nurture is huge. Everybody's got a database of leads that are sitting there and no one's working them.
Yes.
Everybody's got it. Put an agent on it. The agent will sit there and listen and listen for intent, listen for engagement, send a personalized email once a month, see how you're doing, checking in. And once something clicks, it'll serve it right up to the rep, call tasks, LinkedIn tasks, and you're off and running. So much better motion than your once a month newsletter, I can guarantee it. ABM multi-threading, customer expansion accounts, fantastic use case. So we'll get into building an agent today. Sarah, what use case would you like to center this around?
I feel like we've done a lot of marketing use cases as of late in the show. So I want to spend some time on cold outbounding. I think it'd be interesting. We've got reps here. They spend, I think, a lot of the things you talked about as far as like manual tasks and writing and LinkedIn connection requests. They spend a lot of time on that. So I'm curious to see how Reggie can help them.
Love it. It's my favorite topic. So first and foremost, if you're going to get started with Reggie, the first thing you're going to do before you do anything is you're going to upload your brain kit.
Yep.
And what this is you sign up. We're going to get your company information built in. It's very easy to do. You just put in your website. You're going to start drilling down on the description, your default pane, your default value prop, etc. Save all that, and then you can start uploading all your collateral and building out your personas. The important part about that is the AI knows the persona. They'll know it, and they'll take the right messaging in the CMS and actually utilize that within the sales emails. So it'll be very targeted, always on brand, always direct to the persona. And it's not generic, right? Going out to ChatGPT these days, you just don't know what's coming back into that email, and you can't control it. There's no guardrails. So Reggie highly supports the brand messaging. Now, let's go ahead and create an agent. Now, we're going to go through a couple of steps here as I walk you through this. If you've ever set up an ad set, this is going to be very familiar to you.
But a lot of time doing that, Rocco.
I have a feeling. That's right. So you know what a lookalike audience is. You know how to upload your custom audience. You can do the same thing with emails now, which is super interesting. So we're gonna talk about discovery. Discovery is how do we discover contacts and accounts. Okay. Now you talked about cold outbound, so that's what we're going to utilize. Let's say we have greenfield, or we have a set of accounts and contacts in Salesforce. That's like our target list. They close the fastest with the highest ACV, and we want more of those, right? So let's go ahead and grab that contact list. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab an exclusion list. So let's say it's our customer list, right?
Yep.
And we're going to scroll down here, make sure that it adds the right amount of people per day, because it could add a lot more if you wanted to, but maybe you have a certain rep count. You want to support that motion and not overwhelm them. You can support that. And then you want to get real targeted on what personas you want to go after. So let's say for this particular agent, we're going to go to SVP of sales, sales enablement, head of business development. Let's say we're selling AI agents to salespeople just for the sake of it, right? And then let's go ahead and test it. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the AI go through the different databases that Reggie's connected to and ensure that the personas and this list and this audience is exactly who we want to target first. So plenty of guardrails set up so you can ensure that AI is not going to go crazy and email a bunch of people that, are not relevant. So you can see here, right on target, head of business development, right down the list here. This looks great, right? We're going to go ahead and save that. Now what we're going to do, this is where it gets really interesting, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to give the agent a bunch of tasks to do. So you're literally telling the agent to go execute these tasks. I mean, think about like the power here, it's just wild. This isn't a sequence anymore. Those are over. So the first thing we may want the agent to do is send an email, send a personalized email. Notice here we got prompts built in, so you can ensure that the emails are right on brand. Just like, I always tell folks, like, take your best emails that are working and we can reverse engineer it into a prompt. So every single rep has the exact best email and email style that your best rep has. So, now there's a level playing field when it comes to messaging for the entire team. All right. So we got a subject line prompt, email body prompt, system prompt, right? So we have like just a backend prompt that supports it. And then we have a data source priority. So what is it actually prioritizing? Well, when you write a personalized email, you can actually ask it to prioritize different data sources. Yeah. See here, and you can actually bring in the CRM as well. We'll bring that in. And you can add in custom fields. So if you have certain data that's sitting on the contact object, like, you name it, you can actually personalize to it. So it's great for inbound lead response as well, because you can bring in the lead source, you can bring in the how do you hear about us, and personalize
really cool.
email with it.
It looks like you can like drag and drop them in order too, which is cool. So I can, funding is great, but I'm more interested in your work history, make it more personal versus your company. That's really cool.
Yep. Then you go ahead and test it. So, this will look up you can add in a certain email, persona email, prospect email, make sure the email looks great for you, right? These emails are always written with best practices, nice and tight. It shows the data source used, so you can see your work history. Notice your career path. Let's go ahead and delete that. He doesn't tweet much. I know that. Let's add in a data source I know would be interesting. Company news. Is that in? We'll move that up. And then we can see it again. Test it. There we go. It's our release on our new enhanced email analyzer. So, it's bringing in the prompt.
That's really interesting. I just want to point out the data source used. I feel like this is a trend I've seen more and more having people on this show is because, we kind of joked earlier, like ChatGPT, it went from like, it can't write me an email to all of a sudden overnight, it's like blind trust. But jokes aside, like I do feel like people have a tendency to worry, like, where is this coming from? Like, why is it producing the output that it is producing? And I love that you guys have the data source to use. So it's not such like a black box feeling. You're showing like, hey, this is why we wrote it. Here's where we're pulling from. And just having that built into the product, I feel like is so useful to build trust with your end users. So I love that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think we're all starting to receive some emails that it's like, is this AI? It's just like, it meshed in like my college and what I ate for dinner last night. It's like, like this is like a weird jumbled like email. These are, what we tried to do is like, make it very targeted. Like you can set up an agent just around, if you even want to add in more guardrails, just around company news or just around job titles or funding, et cetera. So that's how you set up an email. Want to add some more tasks, you can set up a follow-up email, add that in, completely different email, right? Different prompt, different style, referral email. And then if they start engaging, you're going to ask it to send the rep a call. We got a call script here, right? System prompt.
Very cool.
Send a LinkedIn connection request. So the agent will actually sit there and dynamically listen to intent. It'll connect to your intent provider. We'll have intent built into Reggie here shortly, so it'll actually come out of the box. And your reps never have to send another email again. Now,
that's awesome.
If you want them to, you can actually have the agent, like a lot of folks do want, especially like when you're targeting like the above the line C-suite prospect, you may want that manual email and an added touch. So you can actually ask the agent to send your rep a manual task to start the whole thing, and then the agent can take over on the back end.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so it's like, hey, reminder to you, you need to go do it. We're not just going to send it for you, but it's still going to help produce the email and what you could send. You just have a little bit more oversight into it.
Yeah, and I'll show you in Copilot like what I mean by like added touch, because you can really get specific. The way to think about it is a lot of us have like the typical sequence is manual email and then everything else is automated, right? Besides the call and LinkedIn task. Now you can do manual email and then agent take over. No more templated emails, all unique to the prospect. So you're replacing all those templates with agent emails that have personalization in them. That makes sense? Yeah.
That's really cool.
Cool. Couple quick things to notate here. Now, this is a demo instance, so I don't have all the data, but this is a marketer's dream, and I'll tell you why. You can actually come in here and look at the specific content, the specific pain point value proposition, how many emails it's in, what's actually driving engagement within the emails, and if it's actually booking meetings. So imagine taking this and bringing this all the way back through the customer journey, all the way to an ad, because you can actually see now what's converting in emails. Like before, it was really just a subject line. After that, you didn't really know, right?
Yep.
So you can see this per persona. You can go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, you were right. This is a marketer's dream, because I feel like I ask this question all the time, and I'm like, well, what message is resonating in our outbound sequences? And the best I can come up with is subject lines. Like that's how I'm pulling in, or by the persona from the subject line. So actually having the value prop, because that's all I actually do care about, because that's going to inform so much more of my marketing. This is a really cool feature.
Yeah. And, just like ads, you go into Facebook, you look at your campaigns or ad sets, you get down to different ads, and what can you do? You can toggle them on and off based on performance. Well, now you can do that within your emails to toggle on and off your pain points, your value props, even your personas.
Yep. So you see one's not performing, you just say, we don't want to keep training it on this value prop. It's not resonating with our CMO, and you can just turn it off.
That's right.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, what we just went through is number one, how you can completely alleviate ever having to log into Zoom info ever again. Number one. Number two, how an agent can serve up, manage hundreds of thousands of contacts at once. How to write customized prompts, how to increase your deliverability, because now there's no more templates, by the way. So if you have deliverability issues, it's a great use case just to even get into the inbox. And then finally, how to really refine your messaging with analytics that aren't available in sales engagement platforms. Now we'll hop over quickly to Copilot and show how we support reps on all their manual tasks and get things done faster. So let's go ahead and hop into everyone's favorite inbox. Go ahead and open the inbox. We're going to put in a prospect here that I found. And look at that. The Rapid Writer found a close persona. I know that's not quite your persona, but it was close enough. And it gave me the bolt. See this bolt here? And what Reggie's actually doing is taking all that brand kit, that brand messaging, it's taking that prompt, and it's actually writing a personalized email on the click of a button for the rep.
That's really cool.
Right.
So it's just, it's in the system you're already using. You don't have to toggle back. Like, it's just there and it can help you write. That's really cool.
Exactly. And it's nice and tight. It's written with best practices. If you open up our analyzer, let's see where we're at here. I know we got a good green check here. We're at a 96% already. Oh, it's just missing a subject line. All we have to do is ask the Rapid Writer to read the email and come up with a relevant, unique subject line for this email. Now we've pulled up our target prospect. We've got a great backstop here in the Reggie Chrome extension in Copilot, that if you want to add that added touch to your email and really dig into the research of the prospect and tailor something, we put all the data that you need right in front of you, plus more, and I'll show you what plus more means. Notice in here, we've got Sarah's about information. We actually pulled in personality and communication advice. Our AI actually will read all your social profiles, Sarah, and come up with ways to communicate with you, whether it's a cold call or whether it's on a demo. So, all of our reps actually prep for this when we get on calls to ensure that we're communicating properly. Be friendly, amiable. They will open up more. What do you think?
That is very accurate.
I love it. Love it.
I
and if you're
immediately
trained
put
on
the
disc,
don't, and I was reading the don'ts, and I was like, those are all also very accurate.
I love it. This is like an understated feature, but I think it's so powerful.
That is really cool.
Because a lot of us went on the phone, and the more you can connect with folks, the better. So, okay, we got work history. So let's go ahead and create a personalized message. And this is actually built with a best practice in mind. A lot of what we build within Reggie is to mimic workflows of reps or workflows of sales leaders, etc. This is to mimic 3x3 research and personalization, where you can grab 3 relevant data points very quickly and write an email. The goal is to typically do it in under 3 minutes. Like without AI, it always took like 30. Now we can do it in 30 seconds, right? So, and it's fantastic. So we're going to grab this about section. Let's go over to the company information. Let's get some news. And then let's say I might have found something out about you outside of the Chrome extension that I want to add in. We actually have this custom field as well that you can add something in, something unique. Oh, cool. What's your favorite hobby?
I play beach volleyball.
Love for beach volleyball. All right, we got that in. Hit next. Always ensure that every email is written with best practices. Best practice is get that value prop in there. Make sure it's tight to the persona. We're going to write an entire email. We're going to use this custom prompt. Look at this. You got a whole bunch of different prompts you can use based on different use cases. We want to write it in English. Sarah speaks English. And here we go. Seeing your love for beach volleyball appears value teamwork, quick strategy. These are significant in managing business communications too.
Very cool. Connected it together. Nice job, AI.
That's right. Connects it all the way through to the call to action, right? So you got a bunch here, copy it over, and you're rocking and rolling. Viable strategies in business.
That's awesome. I love that it gives multiple options too. I always feel like that's I don't see that as often on the show, but every once in a while, we'll have people on that showcase how their product has multiple different. It's not just going to give you one output that you have to edit. It's going to give you multiple to choose from. And I really like that feature.
That's awesome. Reggie's actually stands for recommendation engine. And I think it nails in the power of AI, because it's going to recommend a lot of great things for you to choose from, where you can come in and fine tune it and tailor it and make sure you get what you want.
Awesome.
Cool. I got a lot of other stuff to show. We've got LinkedIn automation built in. The AI can literally help you run through call tasks right out, or LinkedIn tasks right on LinkedIn. We've got a whole manager dashboard for analytics for managers to have a qualitative view of what emails look like. I mean, we got a bunch of jam-packed stuff, but just for the sake of time, we'd love to end it right here and open it up for any questions.
Yeah, we'll leave it on a cliffhanger here. So if people want to see a little bit more of what you mentioned there, Rocco, they can go check out Regie.ai and go learn more or request a full custom demo, which would be great. So
Perfect.
Rocco, thank you so much for taking us through that demo. This was really awesome. I mentioned it before we started. It was really cool to see the agent and what that means for reps being able to not just have sequences anymore, but have something actually help them along the whole journey. So that was great. So what I would love to do is move into our lightning round Q&A and ask you a couple questions to round out the show if you're ready for that.
Let's go.
All right. So the first question is going to be, sorry, let me just get my questions up here. How long have you been building AI into Reggie AI?
Yeah. Into Reggie AI. It's been a few years now. So we were very early on the OpenAI API, one of the first. Like I said before, like folks, it was before ChatGPT, so folks just like didn't even trust that the AI could write the emails. And we've been through the bumps and bruises. Obviously, it's a different game today, and glad to be on this early on and on this trend.
Yeah, I love having companies on the show that have the URL is .ai because that question gets answered so differently. We've got some that are saying like, oh, we just started like 6 months ago. But then we've got like the OGs that are Regie.ai. When I'm like, hey, how long have you been building this into your product? You're like, the whole time. That was the whole purpose of the company. Okay, Rocco, what you showed in the demo today, is all of that right now generally available for customers if they were to go purchase Reggie tomorrow?
Today, you can implement agents into your workflows. Make your next hire a sales agent.
That is incredible. And speaking of customers, who are some of your current customers at Reggie that are benefiting from your product?
Yeah, we got a couple of small folks like AT&T and Culture Ramp, Boomi, Plaid, Webflow. Some fintech in there. Really across the spectrum. Some really great clients.
So very small, unrecognizable customers there. And then, Rocco, what is next on your AI roadmap? Where are you guys taking Reggie?
Yeah, I think that the agent, pushing the limits of what's possible with an AI agent is really where we're centered around, and also pushing the limits of what's possible to support the reps. With agents, sometimes the misconception is like, okay, well, all the reps are going away. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think it's like implement agents on teams to allow them to do high value tasks, right? Get rid of these repetitive, monotonous tasks. If you're a sales rep listening to this, put it in front of your manager so you never have to do to pull contact ever again, right? You just have the agent do it. So, and then, supporting the rep, supporting in the prospecting motion and beyond.
Yep, I do. One of the reasons I've loved doing this show is we heard so much, I think, in the past year, do more with less, do more with less. And for the first 4 months of that, it was like, okay, what does that mean? How do we do more with less? And I feel like where we've landed is what you just said, that AI is not going to replace people, it's not going to replace your sales reps, but it is going to make them better and more efficient. And it is the answer to do more with less, is finding products that are like building AI in a very use case specific way that's going to help your team scale when they can't add headcount and can't add budget.
Agree. Totally agree.
Okay. And last question. Are there any AI-powered go-to-market tools that your team is using right now that you like and want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I actually am bullish on, and I just got word of this. So folks that use Scratchpad, Scratchpad is building in AI and it's coming. And I know the pain of keeping the CRM clean and updated, and they're already a godsend to a lot of managers, reps, RevOps people in the world. And now they're building an AI, and I cannot wait to see what they do with it.
That's amazing. Well, Rocco, that's going to wrap up our episode of Go-to-Market AI. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was an incredible demo. I loved seeing this in action. So thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, anytime. Thanks for having me.